Hello everybody, this is a short tutorial about how to use if in your experiments. It's a very important thing and you will learn some other important things as well. So watch this video to learn how to program PsyToolkit experiments. So we start with creating a new experiment and we call this experiment, for example, and my test experiment, and I create that. And then you get a white box, and that's where and some other stuff. Everything that starts with a hash sign is actually human readable text. That's not important for now. So what you have in cognitive psychological experiments are trials, and in this experiment we're going to do we go show a word on the screen, and you have to respond with left or right to it. So the idea is we're going to, let's create a task. We call the task my simple task. And in this, that is what happens in one trial is what you write underneath the task. Um, this needs to be coded step by step. And one thing that you always need to tell your PsyToolkit experiment, if you use the regular keyboard, you say which keys are being used. In this experiment, we're going to use the keys B and N, because the B is left of the N, and people need to respond with B if they see the word left, and the N if they see the word right. The next step is show a text on the screen. So show a text in PsyToolkit automatically shows it at the center of the screen. You can give more parameters, but we're not going into this. If you want to know this, press the green button here, Command Overview. I already did that, so I have two tabs. That opens a new tab, and you can. So, for example, it says how to show a text on the screen, and it gives you examples. Now, show a text on screen. All it will do is show the word left in white text on a black background. So you can modify everything, but there are defaults that it chooses. Then the next thing is we want that people press, in this case, the B key, because that's the word left, not the N key. The N key would if the word is right. So and later I will show you how you can manipulate left and right words, but we start with the simplest situation and then slowly expand the experiment. So we write read key here. That's the instruction to read a key from the keyboard. Read key basically tells PsyToolkit wait until the participant presses a key. Now the correct key, there are two keys, so we say the keys we use are B and N, and we call key B in this case the first key, and this is the second key. So read key 1 and wait, say, up to 10 seconds or 10,000 milliseconds. This means this tells PsyToolkit, okay, wait for a key on the keyboard. The correct key is the first key in whatever was in keys list, and wait up to 10 seconds. If I've waited for 10 seconds, I will just continue. But it will first wait for 10 seconds. And that's, for example, it. What you then want to do at the very least is give some feedback that people have pressed the button. So what we typically do is we remove that word from the screen, clear. We use in PsyToolkit use clear. That's the opposite of show. So if show a stimulus, and this is, for example, this is the first stimulus of the trial. Um, and I write this after a hash mark so that this is a comment. And clear, here I need to say a number, so which the first stimulus. Okay. If I do just this, and then, for example, I have an inter-trial interval of, say, 1,000 milliseconds, then the trial would be over. And I could say store the response time to a data file. So this is already a task that works. So what we do now is we say, okay, you have a task with the one trial looks like this. There are two possible keys. People can press the B or the N. We always show the word left. That's, of course, we'll make it more interesting later. We wait up to 10 seconds. We use a 1 here because we say the correct key, if the word left is shown, is the B key. And then as soon as this has been done, so up to 10 seconds or quicker if people respond more quickly, we clear that stimulus from the screen. We wait then 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second. Then we save the response time to the data file, and we go to the next trial if there's next trial. Now you need to tell PsyToolkit in sort of like blocks. So you can say a block, I have a training block, for example, and you say which task has to be done how many times. So you can say task, my simple task, and then you can say I want to do it 4 times, 4 trials. So this basically, PsyToolkit starts here. Basically, it says, okay, there's a block. I call it training. I need to do the task, my simple task, 4 times, and it knows what my simple task is every time. Basically, PsyToolkit sequences through these instructions, and this is a working experiment. Very simple. Let's run this now. We compile. That makes basically a runnable piece of code, and this now runs in your computer, and it looks like this. Click to start. You see the word left. You press the B key, and well, there are 4 trials. They're very simple. Uh, I press the B key 4 times, and that's it. And you can see the data. You see, all you see is the response time. Now, the next thing that we probably want, what if people press the wrong key? Now, this this lesson is especially about if people do something specific and then something happens, and if some people do something else, then something else happens. So after we have removed this word from the screen, we're going to check if it's correct. And we have something called status. So if you have done read key, the computer makes a status. If if people responded correctly, the status is correct. So you can say if status equals correct, then do something. So in this case, we would show another text, a second stimulus basically, correct, well done. So a little sentence. And I can also say here, that's my second stimulus. I don't need to type this, but sometimes you will later see it can be handy to keep track of that. And I can also indent a little bit. Um, and then also in the save line, I can actually save what the status was. Now, if I do it like this, I also need to say when the computer should stop that if block. So basically, this line, because it is between the word if and the opposite of fi, phi, remember that if you spell this if, so if, right? That's the word if. If you write it in opposite order, the letters, you get fi. In some computer languages, that is used just to tell the computer this is where uh, this ends. So this line will always be done, whether this is true or not. And so we have just this line. Now, if status equals correct, well done. And we can then add another line. If status equals wrong, that is actually an option. Show text wrong key. And then again, you have another if block. There's also something like an else instruction. And there are some other options. I will go into that. So we do it step by step. Let's just do it like first. So just to explain this, if the status is correct, we show this text, and then we end this if block. Here, if the status is wrong, we show this here, show text wrong key, and then we end that. And then we always have this 1 second trial interval. Now let's run that, compile, run the experiment, and click to start. And now you see left B, correct, well done. But if I press the wrong key, it says the wrong key. See, this is very simple. This is how if and phi work. You can also show the data. In another lesson, I will show you more about that. But for now, I would just want to focus on this if and phi. One thing that you could have said, well, if the status is correct, why not use some instead remove these lines? You could say if status is correct, show text correct, well done. Else, so it means basically otherwise, if it's not correct, then show the text wrong key. Does this works the same? Yes. See, compile works fine, and I run it, and then if I do this, I press the end key, so and also if I press any other key, the keyboard doesn't respond. It really only wants the B or the N, and that is what you do with the keys instruction. So this was a very simple lesson just about if. I hope you understand that. You can of course have more than one line between. Also, you could, for example, have another line, another delay here, another, and then uh, clear the second stimulus from the screen. Whereas with the wrong key, you could have a delay of 2 seconds so that the error message is somewhat longer on the screen. This would still also be the second stimulus because there are only two stimuli in the screen, right? In this task, you have the word left followed by a feedback message, basically correct, well done, or wrong key. Now, there's a lot more we could say about this, but I want to keep this lesson short. Just understand that you have if, else, and fi. And if you want to know how that works as well, so you can look at examples here. There are more ways. What I have not explained is that you have the equal operator. We can use one or two equal signs. Also not equal, smaller, smaller, or equal, and so on. But for this very simple task, we didn't need that. But all these things are possible. Um, and I could, okay, let me give you one more example. Let's say I ended this here, but what you can do is if status not equal correct. So we use the your exclamation point followed by the equal sign. Also note that I use that I don't write it like this. I don't put it all without spaces. I'm not sure if it actually parses well. It might not work if you do that. See, it cannot do that. You need to have spaces. That's really an important point. Okay, space is needed. Yeah, okay. So that's an important thing. So space is needed. It's just because this parser that interprets the code is relatively simplistic, and also it's just more readable if you keep these things apart. And also, what I said, you can have double equal, as people sometimes use in computer languages like C or maybe Python or something like that. But one equal sign works just as well, and I find it is maybe somewhat more readable, especially if you're not used to coding. Uh, in this case, the status is saved as a number. Correct in PsyToolkit just always this has a standard value. Actually, this is equal to 1. Right, okay. I hope that was clear. If you have any questions, put them underneath the video and subscribe to the channel. We have more videos. Hope it was helpful. Goodbye.